Welcome back to Here and Now. Tonight on CBC Investigates, the love-hate relationship with our smartphones, high-speed internet, and other technological goodies. We love the devices, but we hate the complicated contracts and fees that go with them. You may not have heard about it, but there's a new provincial law that recently came into effect, and it gives you new rights. Here Now's Rob Antle takes a closer look at those changes to see how they affect you.
Laurel Banfield has a problem with her contract for home phone, cable TV, and high-speed internet. The problem? She didn't even know she had a contract. The company won't give her anything in writing about it, and she's locked in for another 8 months.
Just be nice to have something in writing showing my obligations as a customer at Rogers.
Last year, after she saw her bill go up a couple of times, Banfield called Rogers. The agent applied some discounts to her services, and that's where the problem started. By agreeing to those discounts, Banfield unwittingly entered into a contract, and it won't be cheap to get out of. A cancellation fee of $60 a month. So Banfield decided to stay.
I guess I keep paying them till they tell me I don't have to.
Laurel Banfield isn't the only person to get frustrated about tangly contracts and unexpected fees. Last year, the provincial government decided to do something about it.
We wanted to have some protection there for the general public.
Nick McGraw is the minister in charge of Service NL. He says that new law, Bill 6, is aimed at making contracts easier to understand.
A lot of consumers buy these contracts and they're really not sure what they're getting into and how the length of period as to how long they're going to be into it.
So what does the new law mean to you? First, the bad news. If you signed your contract before last fall, you're out of luck. The law is not retroactive.
So anything that was in a contract before September 27th is not applicable to this particular piece of legislation.
Now the good news. If you signed it after that date, the new rules apply to you. Here's what the companies are now required to do. Put contracts in plain language. Put them in writing. Fixed-term cancellation fees are capped at either $50 or the remaining portion of any discount offered on equipment. Under the law, the province can go to court on behalf of the consumer. And there's also the possibility of fines for those who don't comply with the act. But the minister says it's rare for that to happen.
Normally, if we have a complaint from a customer and we go to the service provider, 99.9% of the time it will be resolved within that route.
But the industry says it was already making some of these changes, like plain language contracts. Bernard Lord is president of the National Lobby Group for Wireless Providers. He warns about too much red tape.
We don't want to see over-regulation, because when you over-regulate, then you can prevent businesses from bringing in innovation that actually benefit consumers.
Newfoundland and Labrador is one of a number of provinces that have either passed a law like this or plan to. Lord says the industry wants the feds to step in. One set of regulations for the whole country, something the CRTC is now looking at.
What we're concerned with is if every province adopts rules that are slightly different than the other province with their own little modification, it simply adds cost, and those costs are passed on to consumers.
Martin Sevigny is one of those customers, and he knows about cost. Last January, he wanted to cancel the contract for his old flip phone with Bell. But the fee was nearly as much as all the remaining monthly payments combined, up front.
It's $28, $29 a month, and I haven't used that phone since last January. So I'm in my 13 months of paying for no service, and I've got 5 more months left.
He falls under the old rules. Bill 6 doesn't help him.
I think it's a very good idea, but at the same time, I don't know if they, I did not know the fine details of that law. And I think maybe that's not been communicated well enough for the average consumer.
And Rob Antle joins us now live in the studio with more on this story. Well, Rob, we just heard there was concern expressed that the government didn't really communicate this change in the law very well. Is there anything that they're going to do to address this?
Well, yeah, I've talked to a lot of people who didn't actually know that the law actually existed, even though it's been in effect for a couple of months now, and some that did know it existed but didn't really know much about what it did. Right now, there isn't a whole lot of information about this on the Service NL website, just a link to the text of the actual Bill 6 itself. And anybody who's read government legislation will know that's not necessarily in plain language itself. I did speak with the Minister, Nick McGrath, who says that should change soon. They're going to revamp the website and add more information, frequently asked questions, and things of that nature.
Okay, so I've got a problem. Who do I call with the provincial government for some help?
Well, you call the Consumer Affairs Division of Service NL. The number should be on screen there now. There's a local number for the St. John's area and a toll-free number for the entire province as well. And with the version of this story on our website, you can also find that information there as well.
Now, September 27th was the significant date when the new, if you signed your contract before that, you're under the old rules. So what are your options?
Well, for people who fall under the old rules, there's a group called the CCTS. It's an independent body that helps mediate complaints with service providers. They had, in fact, Laurel Banfield, who was featured in our story, she's filed a complaint with the CCTS to try to have her problem resolved. There were about 11,000 complaints like that filed in all of Canada last year, which was actually an increase of 35%. So they're a busy group. It's a lot of complaints.
A lot of complaints, and I guess the province is probably going to be very busy right now that you've told everybody about this law.
I suspect that could happen very soon, yeah.
Okay, thanks so much, Rob Antle.
Thank you.